Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Jeannie Hodis. Today we're going to talk about protection for utility customers as well as education reform in Missouri. We're here at the historic, beautiful Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri with Missouri State Representative Brandon Ellington. Thanks so much for being here.
Now, how you doing today?
So let's first talk about the bill you've introduced regarding protection for utility customers. Tell me a little bit about that.
Basically, I consider this a common sense initiative. What the bill proposes is that we cap the rate that utilities companies can actually charge people once their utilities is cut off at $10. And the reason I'm doing it, you can't go to any other company if you have utilities. You can't go to a different gas company, can't go to a different light company, water company, etc. Yet they're allowed to charge people ungodly amounts of money to reconnect their utilities. And I feel like this is not only something that a monopoly should not be allowed to do, but we should protect citizens from price gouging from utility companies.
What kinds of things are some of your constituents seeing when that happens?
Well, I just give you personal experience from when I talk to people. I actually talked to a gentleman today who was ecstatic that he just paid $1,700 to get his lights back on. Well, we're talking about somebody in the wintertime that had to come up with $1,700 to get utilities, which are natural resources. And again, I feel that utility companies should not have the ability to charge people ungodly amounts of money. Most often, when people get their utilities cut off, they have to go on to payment protection plans. Well, this is something that they will still be allowed to do. You just can't charge people ungodly amounts of money to reconnect.
So they still should be able to, start to pay their bills again. You just want them to be able to get back in that situation.
No, yes, because when you talk about somebody in the wintertime that doesn't have lights and that doesn't have gas, but this is somebody that can potentially die from cold weather. And I know we have a cold weather rule, but if it gets above 32 degrees, they're allowed to cut somebody's utility off. And I don't have a problem with them cutting people's utility off for non-payment, but it should be a mechanism in which people can get their utilities back on and it's remain consistent on payments.
So one of the other issues you want to focus on this year is education reform, and you said you're working on something with that.
Yes, ma'am. I have a bill that I anticipate on filing within a week or so, but when I look at education around the state of Missouri, I find that communities have lost the ability to craft the type of schools that they want. And when we talk about the educational attainment in the state of Missouri, you see that most of our students are underachieving because of the, in my opinion, the type of curriculum and the authority that the local administrators, the principals of the schools have. And I'm also trying to reduce the superintendent's role. In Kansas City, we've had roughly around 27 to 28 superintendents in the last 30 years, which is ridiculous. Every year that we get a new superintendent, they come in with a new school plan. The totality of a child's education in each institutional arena is 4 to 5 years. So if a kid is in elementary school, they're there for 5 years. Middle school, they're there for 3. High school, they're there for 4. So if we have no stability with governance, then you can justify the low educational attainment that we have coming out of Kansas City school districts. And again, this bill seeks to rectify that, and also gives communities greater control over the type of signature schools. And what I mean by signature schools, it's a throwback to the way we used to have magnet schools. When I was in elementary and middle school, I studied Latin. We don't have magnet-themed schools anymore. So I'm trying to give communities the ability to dictate the type of education that they want their children to receive.
Well, I know that's a really big issue here in Missouri, and we'll definitely have to have you back again to talk a little bit more about it as you introduce it.
No, definitely.
Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Newsmakers.